pleased with the success of his recent trip to Istanbul. I think it's a 2 thumbs up myself. Looked like a very successful trip for all the parties that were involved in it. I've been coached a little bit. I think it's Günaydın. Is that the appropriate way in Turkish to give a greeting? Günaydın, and thank you again for this warm invitation. I appreciate the fact that Yasser and Ali were gracious enough to invite me to come today to bring a few remarks, but also want to say thanks to Samil for the warm hospitality that I've experienced today. I really appreciate this beautiful Raindrop building. This is a gorgeous structure. It's my first time here. It won't be my last. And I look forward to finding ways for us at the partnership to collaborate and work on joint projects together. I've been invited today to bring some remarks on the economy, as you heard Samil introducing today's luncheon talk. I want to rush to say I'm not an economist. So please take everything I say with a huge grain of salt, because I'm a layperson, and I have the privilege of serving in a business organization that does capture a lot of anecdotal information, and I get to sit in boardrooms and board meetings and committee meetings, and so I get to hear things. And we also have a research division that's able to capture data and information. And so if I may, I'll just bundle some of that up and I'll pass it on to you. But I want everybody to know that I'm not speaking as an authority. I'm speaking as a layperson and just bringing you a few observations. I suspect that what I tell you, there will be several other different ways of looking at the same data. That's what makes living in 2009 very, very exciting. But the good news is that we know the Houston region and Turkey have extensive business, cultural ties that are already in place, as evidenced by this beautiful building and by the Gulen. And we're very, very pleased that there are already 14 Houston companies that are, and their subsidiaries, that are doing business in Turkey. Houston also, clearly, we're pleased, Mr. Vice Consul General, to have the consulate here in Houston area. And we look forward to growing our consular corps. I think today we're at 90 consular corps representatives, and it won't be long that we'll surpass Los Angeles. So keep your eye on that, but that's where we're going. And part of the reason that's going to happen is because by the year 2040, the population of Texas is expected to grow dramatically. It's today about 24 million. Have you heard what the number is by 2040? Well, the demographers are predicting 50 million. So that means that for our region, we'll be inheriting the city of Los Angeles. That's 3 million that will be coming and living here in the Houston area. And that's why this institution, why the partnership, there are about 90 chamber organizations, why we have a tremendous opportunity to continue building and growing our foundation and our network to serve our community and to make sure that we are, in fact, global. In a few days, the Greater Houston Partnership Executive Women's Group is actually going on a trade mission to Turkey, and many of you in this room are already working to help and make sure that that is a successful mission. Renee Hansen from the partnership is going to be traveling with this group. I thought Renee might be able to join us today, but we want to, is Renee here?
She went to the wrong location.
Okay, she'll be here next time. But we're very, very excited about this, and our executive women about a year and a half ago said, we feel like Turkey strategically is where we should go to open doors. So thank you, each of you who are helping us with that mission. And I think perhaps in the future that might be an interesting presentation as they come back, to bring them back and let them talk to you about how they're driving more and more trade and culture and business between our regions. And I understand that Istanbul became a sister city to Houston in 1986, and so that's just another part of this important foundation. In 1999, when Turkey suffered a devastating earthquake, Houston, of course, was at the front of the line to reach out and to assist with clothing and medicine and funds and desperately needed supplies. Last year, our trade Houston region to Turkey rose to $1.9 billion. That represents a 13% increase over 2007, and that clearly puts Turkey as one of our top 30 global partners. This is a factor that's important as we plan forward. We want to drive that global trade up. I think it's safe to say that our humanitarian, cultural, and economic activities have helped forge this increasingly productive relationship. And on behalf of the business community, no doubt about it, as Charles says, we're a better place for having this important tie with Turkey. The microcosm of our relationship, the United States and Turkey, is represented by what's going on here in the Houston region. And Turkey is to be applauded as a benchmark of success in establishing a secular democracy and at the same time holding true to very deep spiritual beliefs. Our countries have stood shoulder to shoulder, as the President was describing, through many challenges and conflicts as longtime partners in the NATO alliance, and Turkey clearly has a strategic tie to Europe and Asia both, as home to the Bosporus Strait, a major shipping channel between the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara. So it's an important and strategic alliance that President Obama is saluting, and we're very, very pleased that everything seemed to go so very, very well. Well, as we talk about economics, let's take a look globally. And may I again hasten to add, I'm not a fortune teller either. Alan Binder, the former vice chair of the Federal Reserve, recently stated that economic forecasting is a dark art, and predicts. And when you predict when a recession will end, you really are on a slippery slope. And of course, if I had that answer, you know that I'd be spending less time in Houston and probably be in an office that's more oval-shaped in Washington. I mean, you have that kind of skills, you're going places. The Turkish proverb does come to mind, though. A white day sheds light, a bad day sheds darkness. Given the global financial crisis, we've seen our share of darkness, haven't we? And whether you read the newspaper or watch the TV or surf the internet, it's hard to find encouraging words. We are clearly in a worldwide recession. Production is down, consumption is down, exports down, trading down, employment, sales, investment, profits are declining. Major financial institutions, well, they're struggling. Global growth is approaching zero. As a matter of fact, the World Bank and other organizations are forecasting a negative world GDP this year. And it's widely expected that the economies of every advanced country will shrink in 2009. Nobody's surprised to hear any of that. The signs are especially evident in areas like China and India, which have been two major engines powering our global economy. And they face a falling demand of their exports and a slowdown in foreign investment. In Spain, Portugal, Greece, Ireland, these countries which have enjoyed a high rate of growth, well, they're suffering from capital flight, and their exports are in a very deep decline. Japan's economy shrank at 12.1% in the final quarter of last year, the sharpest downturn in more than 3 decades. South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, 3 of the so-called Asian tigers, declining exports have led to steep declines in industrial production. Iceland, one of the smallest nations on earth, did you hear their entire economy has collapsed when the banking system took a tumble? Much of the debate over how to most effectively respond to these